Where are you at? What city are you in?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I
Yes,
couldn't figure
ma'am.
out. I was like, I wonder. I knew you were in Houston, but that did.
We did live in Houston for a while. We were in Katy for a little bit. Yeah, that's where my wife she kind of grew up a little bit late in life. So yeah.
Oh wow! So you're not far from the area, or you've been in the area.
So definitely been in the area for sure. Yes, ma'am.
So you were people's dad here too.
All over the place.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. I know we're just a few days out from Father's Day, and Father's Day might be a little different for you now, considering so much that has happened. So you are known as one of the TikTok dads. Tell me how that happened.
Yes, ma'am. Such a blessing for sure. You know, my daughter asked me to do a dance with her on her TikTok account, and next thing I know, the rest is kind of history. She said, "Hey, you ought to do a TikTok account, make one." And I was like, I don't even know what this is. So she made me one. I did, you know, I do kick in the indoor football league as well. And so I do some trick shot kicks, and, you know, I kicked a football over the house. It went into our pool, into a little thing, and that video took off. And then the one that really set us on the map was my youngest daughter dressed me up like a VSCO dad. And I was like, a VSCO dad? What is VSCO girl? And she's like, well, it's a VSCO girl, but I'm going to make you a VSCO dad. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. And so that is how Billy VSCO was born. That video kind of put us on the map, you know, and in the comments, it was kind of like, man, I wish my dad would do things like that with us. And I was like, how does a dad not want to hang out with their kids and, you know, just be fun, have a good time and be silly. And so that's kind of how it was born. I saw a need for some, you know, some family content, and we definitely just do what we can to entertain and teach lessons, and, you know, just not necessarily, but what works in our house might not work in everybody's, but we like to say what works for us. And
yeah, and it's working. I mean, you have such great advice. So you have two teenage daughters, so you give a lot of teenage advice, which is so important, especially during the summer months. But you emphasize a lot about making time with your children while they even want time with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the biggest thing is just, you know, a lot of people, sometimes we show, you know, going shopping or doing things like that. It's not about that. It's about the spending the time. That's what it's about. You know, kids could, of course, but kids want you. They want your attention. And I think that's the message that we definitely try to get across and show that it's not about all this other stuff. It's just about spending time, having fun, being goofy, being silly. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you have a very laid back parenting style, kind of like a don't get so worked up over things that are not that serious. Where did you learn your parenting style?
Oh, my wife and I feed off each other so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. She has taught me a whole lot. She's kind of behind the scenes person. You'll see her in a video every now and again, but she's definitely the brains behind the operation. But I've learned so much from her. I'm an only child. I've literally never really been around kids before I had kids. I didn't have any nieces, nephews, things like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you know, even when my son was a little baby, he got a hold of a book one time and ripped some pages, and he was just a baby, you know, and I was like, you know, I could see myself getting frustrated, and she's like, he's a baby, he doesn't know that. And that moment has stuck with me forever. And I really think I look at that, and that moment kind of changed me, and going forward in my parenting role, like, hey, kids are just kids. Even teenage kids are still kids. They're going to do some silly things. It is not the end of the world. Whatever, we can get through this. You know, we can get through things. So,
and you have a saying that you say, do better.
Do better, for sure.
Do better. Tell me about do better, because when you know better, you do better.
Exactly right. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, some people have gotten frustrated. They're like, why do you tell everybody to do better? And this started, and I'm not telling people to do, but, you know, I talk to myself. You know, this came about, you know, because I am an athlete, And that was kind of my philosophy, just growing up as an athlete, is do better. Every day I can do better. If I can, each day I want to improve just a little bit. And that's kind of just stuck with me through everything that I've done, is do better. And I was like, you know what, why not introduce this into the parenting world as well? And it's just kind of stuck. It just, it's just kind of, like I said, it's something that I'm not telling anybody, out there to do better, but I'm encouraging, I'm just throwing it out there. Hey, if you want to do better, let's do better, because we can all do better. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to go over a couple of particular videos that kind of stood out to me, because you have so many and you can spend so much time on your page. So there's one in particular, you're scrambling. The skit is you're scrambling for the keys. I don't know if you remember that one. And you're like, you've got my keys. I know where they are. You finally found your keys. And instead of going, there are different ways to handle situations. I'm sorry I blamed you for your keys. So how important is the energy that you have towards your teens or towards your children?
That was, yes, I do remember that. And I think it's an apology video when you do lose your cool with your kids. It's okay to apologize to our kids. Our kids learn pretty much everything from us. If they're not learning from you, they're probably learning from somebody they probably shouldn't learn from. And I always keep that in mind. So, even apologies, being how we treat others, even, I'm a true believer in, you can be a parent and you can be their friend. I mean, it's important to teach our kids how to be friends. That's because there's some jerk friends. Let's just be real. There's some jerk friends out there. They were never taught how to be a good friend. And so I truly believe you can teach your kids, how to be good friends too. There's so many things we can teach our kids. But yeah, that particular video was, we lose our cool. I've lost my cool. I got asked the other day on one of my videos, do you ever yell at your kids? Yes, I have. But you'll see that I'm the first one to apologize when I've overstepped those bounds too. I have no problems apologizing to my kid. That doesn't make me weak in their eyes. It doesn't make me a soft parent. We still discipline in the house. I think a lot of people get that confused too. So, but our kids learn everything from us. Bottom line, apologize to your kids.
Yes. And, a lot of people growing up in many different generations, you weren't supposed to be friends with your kid. I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. Tell me about the importance of being friends with your kids, because they want that.
Absolutely, they do. My kids are cool. I can't help but want to be hanging out. They're awesome. My son loves football. My son, my daughter, she plays soccer. My other daughter dance. There's just so many cool things about them. I love them coming. Like I said, I still play football. I love them watching me. I love to watch them. But it's just, there's just something. It's parent first. Definitely. I mean, we have to be parents first, because that's just, we do, there's situations that arise and things like that. But there comes a time and a point when they don't need a parent, they need a friend. Especially my son at college. That's one thing. And when my daughters, when they take off to college, and they call me, I'm sure it's going to be one of those deals where, it's going to be easy to say, hey, do you want me to be dad role right now, or do you want me to be friend role? Am I just an ear, or do you want some advice? Or do it's just so important, because like I said, our kids, they learn those roles from us. And that's why I really think I just can't help but be friends with my kids, because I love to go shopping with them. We have the same taste in, even though I'm old and grown, and I get made fun of sometimes because I like what the clothes that are in, and I like the tennis shoe. I'm a shoe guy. But I like to hang out and see what they enjoy. I mean, that's just.
And one of the other things that you always talk about is listening to your kids, even when they're not talking to you, maybe listening to some of their needs. How important is it to be aware of things that are going on, even if they don't come directly to you?
That is so important. So important. That's why I do like the friend role, because you can see emotions, different emotions. You know your kids, you get to know them on a different level at that point in time too. So you kind of know when there's things going on in their life that, hey, I feel like, even when you don't say anything to your kid, but you can talk to your spouse, or you can just know in your mind that, hey, I feel like something is going on here. I might need to step in and as a parent, to see if I can, help resolve this situation. But it's so important to listen to your kids, because they'll tell you things, and it's not an exact, ABC order. It might come out, in some other crazy order, but as long as you know your kids, and you, it's just so important to have that communication and that listening ear.
And you have been there for millions of people who didn't grow up with a dad, who lost their father. Tell me some of and I read the reactions that people say, you're my dad, you're claimed all over the world. How does that feel to be able to be there for them?
I can't put that into words. I could probably break down almost sometimes and get choked up about it to see some of them, look at our videos and look at myself like that. And, when we go out and, people like, there's TikTok dad. And it's just, it's really cool to know that, like I said, it's that one gets me emotional, because it's just really cool that I can be, somebody's, TikTok dad and fill a role that's, that they, that they are missing in their life. I'm not trying to take anybody's parent's role. Definitely make that clear right now. But hey, if I can be an ear and put a video out there that helps motivate and teaches your kids something, I remember just teaching kids how to tie a tie. I had some people saying I never had a dad to teach me how to tie a tie, and so we put a video out that teaches you how to tie a tie. And some of the responses on that, just they'll get you choked up. It's really cool, and I'm blessed to be able to do it for sure.
Yeah, and although you don't show too much, I don't know if your college son but you do a lot more of your teenage daughters. You also speak on teenage sons and the feelings and the emotions you're allowed to have as a boy, and people block those out. So you are there for boys and girls,
Absolutely. It is okay. I mean, we have this stereotype, that dry those tears up, boy, boys don't cry. We don't cry. We're men. And, hey, it's okay. It's okay to show emotions. Sometimes I think that's, that definitely can cause some things down the road that's, if we don't know how to handle emotions correctly and let emotions out correctly, that's setting up some bad things to happen. So I'm all for, hey, let's get this out. Let's get your emotions out.
Have you ever considered going into a career where this is your thing? Because right now, I guess this is a fun thing. I'm sure you do well at it. I'm not really sure how that works, but has there been a moment where you want to maybe take it to the next level?
Absolutely, and we pretty much are doing that right now. We have definitely been blessed to take it to the next level. Next week we are speaking at VidCon on behalf of TikTok. They've invited us out. So yeah, it is what we do. I've been blessed to talk to the National PTA of America. So we've been blessed and put in a lot of positions that we would have never in a million years thought. Just over a couple of videos that started out as something fun, it's turned into I want to say it's a career, but it's something that we love to put this positive content out, and I think it's something that not everybody believes in our methods, and that's okay. But it's definitely, because that's another thing that I always say is, hey, what works in my house might not work in yours. It's just offering some friendly advice that works for us. So if you want to use it, we'd be glad to offer it. And so yeah, we're very blessed to be in the position that we are in with this, for sure.
Well, congratulations. Before I let you go, I do want you to what would you say to the fathers that maybe are not spending that type of time or could do better?
You're missing out. You are missing out. It is the coolest thing in the entire world. You can hear my voice getting choked up over it too. It's one of the coolest things in the world to just be able to, watch my son do the things he's done. And I'll tell you a quick story too. What kind of also sent us in this direction was when my son was 5 years old and he was playing his very first soccer game ever. I was working for a company, and they told me I couldn't go for an hour to just watch him play soccer. I will never forget that moment. I came home and I told my wife, I said, that's it. I'm done with the corporate world. I can't do something where somebody tells me I can't go watch my son play, play his first soccer game. I can't do it. And I understand not everybody's in that, but I'm just saying my own experience. And I never went back. That was it. We figured out a way to, go in business for ourselves. And then it's too cool of opportunities to miss your kids growing up. I couldn't imagine. Now it's sometimes since everybody's active, it's like, okay, you go here and I'll go here. So, we have things, but man, if you are not in your kid's life, I just reach out, make that one phone call. It's not going to take one phone call, I promise, to get back in their life, but that's going to start it. And it definitely, it can't hurt to try if that's a thing. And oh, it's just such a cool thing. Such a cool thing for everybody to experience. If you got kids, don't miss them growing up. Don't miss them growing up. You will definitely, that'll be the biggest regret in your life, I would truly feel.